Saving money at a young age. Save your money. You're going to need it. Twice as much money in your old age as you think. This was said by Michael Caine. To understand the need and the importance of having money at an early age is really developed by what you learn as a child, and it just goes on through life from habits you learned while being young. And the younger you learn, you have these good spending and saving opportunities and techniques, the better your life looks when you're older and in retirement. Having money at an early age helps you to improve the likelihood that you will be able to handle the money that you have and that you will receive as you go through life. However, financial literacy is low. Fewer than 1/3 of young adults possess the basic knowledge of interest rates, inflation, and risk diversification. Most knowledge that we know about money comes from what we saw and were taught about as we were young and as we grew up. Most of what we learn comes from watching our parents and our grandparents handle their money. The better they are at handling money, the more likely you are going to be good at handling your money. Saving is a habit that lets people feel like they have control over their lives. Having money put away makes most people feel as though they're doing something good and that they have something good going on for them, no matter how much debt they have or other financial situations that they may be in. Habitual or regular savers were found to have different psychological motivations from borrowers. They see debt as either a failure or as a normal part of everyday life. The habit of saving money has a chemical reaction in your brain to make it so that you believe if you aren't saving the money and you do have debt, it's either a very bad failure on your part or that it's just a normal part of life, and as long as you are paying off your debt and saving money at the same time, you still feel like you have gained a sense of control in your life. People who save and have savings, while simultaneously having debt, felt more optimistic and in control of their lives than those who have debt but no savings. Having just a little money put away or available to be put away for the times when you don't know what's going to happen and that you may be in trouble changes the whole outlook a person has on their lives and their financial situations. Most of our money habits were developed while we were children, which needs to be almost tweaked a little bit because we need to teach our children better saving habits. Money's his children. Males received more pocket money and presents than females, and older children received more money than younger children. Generally speaking, boys receive more money than girls, and the older you get, it's more likely that you'll receive money as a present because apparently it's really too hard to shop for older children. It's like getting money as a child for like gifts, but just in general. It's like a natural transition to letting children get used to how the rest of their lives will be when they get jobs and careers. And when it comes to having money from in their future. Over 80% of children claimed their parents would not give them extra money if they spent all of it. Having parents who would not give you more money when you spend all the money you had teaches children that there's an importance to saving and planning for the future. Even if it's a $5 toy a little kid wants, they have to sit and save their money. It teaches them that there's a reason for saving. So an emergency fund, all kinds of fun. Emergency funds should have 2 criteria. They need to be highly liquid investment vehicles so that you have access to them in the event of an emergency, and they need to be in low-risk investments. If the investment is too volatile, there is a chance the level of the asset balance may not be adequate at any particular time. So in other words, an emergency fund needs to be able to be reached very easily, very quickly when bad things happen, but there also has to be enough of it to cover most general problem that might arise, which is, according to David Ramsey, would be about $1,000. Households where the heads have more formal education are more likely to have an emergency fund, suggesting, but not demonstrating, that emergency funds represent smart financial planning. So in order to be, smart at your financial planning, it is associated that you need to have more education, and the higher education you have, the more likely you will be prepared to handle your money for the future. And the person with the highest amount of education is more likely to have, emergency funds and a retirement fund and be already prepared for life once they have no more money coming in on a weekly or monthly basis. Retirement fund. A personal household is considered to be prepared for retirement when a accumulated savings is significantly high to generate income at least equal to the given pre-retirement level of consumption. In other words, you would be able to be considered ready for your retirement once the savings and any Social Security or anything like that, the money you're getting after you're not working, is equal to the amount of money you have spent while you were working. So an individual needs to have enough savings to have the same amount of income that is at least equal to what they spent while they were working. So I think it was about 3 months. You have to have enough income savings for about 3 months of what you spent while you're working to be at least considered retired, ready for retirement. And the more money you had, the better off you would be. There are people who over their lives never establish a retirement fund. It is, in its broadest sense, a savings program is defined either as earmarking assets for use in retirement or actually saving money on a regular basis for retirement. Having a savings program helps you as a person become ready for your retirement. The longer you save money, or the more you save, or even better, the longer and the more you save, the better prepared for your retirement you are. Most future retirees will need to rely on personal savings to maintain a reasonable replacement income. In other words, putting money into the state pension or into IRAs or any other form of other retirement funds aren't going to help you out too much, and most people have to rely on what they saved personally by themselves, other than what they did with their work or anything like that. It's like now with the teacher pension, they bankrupt the pension, so there's no pension left for retiring teachers. Baby boomers and others are only saving at a rate of 1/3 of what will be needed to fund their retirement, and younger boomers are saving less than the older boomers. People our age are younger than the boomers. And if the boomers aren't saving enough, the only way we'll be able to save enough money is to start as soon as we get a job and to save as much as possible. That way we are prepared for when we retire. It is predicted that fully half of all individuals ages 25 to 71 will not have sufficient savings to support themselves in retirement. In order to keep us, as young adults, money-wise and ready for retirement, we have to actively save from the day we start a job to the day we actually retire. So that we have so we have enough funds so that we don't have to worry about conserving our medication because we don't have enough to buy any more medication. And we as young adults need to look at the statistics and change the predictions. The factors to have a savings account can be put into 3 groups: environmental influences, which are culture, social classes and family. Individual influences, which is like motivation, knowledge, and attitude, and psychological influences, which is like learning and behavior change. Saving money is a behavior change. You have to actively think about putting away money for rainy days and what may happen in your life in 20 to 30, 40 years from now. Saving money comes from many aspects of a person's life and what goes on around them, and how they feel as a person, and how their mind works. Qualified savings plans available at work or have a significant impact on a person's decision to either retire or to continue working after 65 or 70 when the retirement age is available. Working for someplace where there is a retirement plan helps people save for the future and have the money they need in order to be able to live the rest of their life without having to depend on anything else or anyone else. And when it comes time for them to retire, they are more willing to retire than to continue working because they know they have enough money. Those employed in governmental agencies are more likely to have a defined benefit plan than other workers, which may impact the employee's willingness to save privately for retirement. So having more money, you can spread it around a little bit better. From your job, there is a higher chance that you'll be willing to put away money into the set up savings plan and also into a private plan to make sure and to double make sure. Like with Santa Claus here, check it all this twice, to make sure that you have enough money for when you decide it's time to retire. Age, education, gender, income, and marital status are significant factors that influence saving for the future. Being older, having a higher level of education, being male, having higher income, and having been married positively affects savings. So basically, being a highly educated, white, married, older man may be the stereotypical perfect person to save money for the future. However, that isn't always true. But in order to make sure everyone has what's best and what can be best for their future, you need to try to achieve as many of those factors that are biologically, genetically, and physically possible. Today's youth have increasingly high levels of debt. The average undergraduate loan debt rose from $9,250 to $19,200 from 1997 to 2007. That's a 58% increase. After adjusting for inflation. Average debt for college students graduating with loans rose 6% in 1 year. That's 2006 to 2007. From $18,976 to $20,980. Debt for undergrad loans rose 58% in 10 years. And student loan debts rose 6% in 1 year. Debts facing young adults are rising, and it makes people our age have a harder time at starting their life better with their higher education to make their life better, and has it harder to work and pay off what the debt it already is. It's like starting a horse race 10 feet back behind the head gates. Young people carry large amounts of student loans or credit card debt, and such early entanglements can hinder their ability to accumulate wealth. Like I said, you're starting horse race 10 yards back from starting line. It's going to take you that much longer to get caught up. And most people, sorry, it's like bad to say, but most people never do get caught up. And having so much debt at the beginning of their lives have given them a harder time to gather the needs and the time to get the wealth that they should have to start their jobs and their careers. I mean, like our grandparents, when they went to college, didn't have as much debt, and they started life out financially in a better place than we would without all the debt. Even if you had the exact same pay and jobs, the amount of debt accumulates to having less wealth when you're ready to retire than 2 or 3 generations ago. Median credit card debt among college students grew from $946 in 2004 to $1,645 in 2009, a 74% increase. Credit card debt increased 74% in 5 years. Usually people have credit card debt because they cannot afford to get what they want and sometimes what they need. However, the not having enough money to get what you want comes from not being able to save enough and not saving money in the right way. This is like an endless cycle that has not been broken, and the only way to break it is to teach our children that saving money earlier is better than saving money later. So what we need to do is to help financially improve our children's lives and our lives is to go to school and get as much education as possible and get a better paying job, but then to also teach our children that saving money at the youngest age possible for the future and what might ever happen is the most important thing to do. Thank you.